Hello and welcome to the Swan Song Project Podcast. My name is Ben Buddy Slack and I'm the founder of the Swan Song Project. We're a charity that helps people take them into their lives to write about their own original songs. This podcast features a range of songwriters. We talk about one of their songs, we talk about other songwriting tips that might be useful for people, and we also talk about a song that's meaningful to them in some way related to bereavement. This episode features Chris Martin, not all from Coldplay. Hope you enjoy it. Okay, today I'm here with Chris Martin. Thanks for joining me, Chris.
Hello. Nice to be here.
Yeah, looking forward to talking some songwriting with you. So if anyone's seen these podcasts before, we're doing it in three sections. First, we're going to have one of my guest songs. Then Chris is going to share with us a songwriting tip that might be useful for new songwriters. And section three, we're going to talk about a song that's meaningful to Chris in some way related to bereavement. Before I carry on, I just want to be in the interest of full disclosure. Chris is a trustee of the Swan Song Project. Very happy to have Chris on the board. He's been there from the start. There's a lot of support behind the scenes, and so yeah, it's good to have you on the show, Chris, and talk about some of your music.
Pleasure to be here. If anybody's watching thinking it's that other Chris Martin, I'm sorry.
Either you're sorry or you're welcome.
Either way. Maybe he'll see it and he'll come on.
Maybe, yeah, that could work. Yeah. If he is, then just get in touch, Chris. We'll be happy to talk to you. So let's go into section one. So this is where we're going to talk about a song that you wrote, Chris. So what song of yours did you choose for us?
This is a song that I wrote only quite recently about the infant death of my first grandson, who never got out, never came home from hospital, etc., etc. And it's going back 18 years ago, but I wanted to write about it, but I'm not that prolific a songwriter, and I struggled with how to angle a song for someone who lived for 2 weeks and never came out of hospital. There's kind of not a lot. What would I say, So eventually, when I found that angle, I found it via someone else, who a young chap who I was in hospital with 4 years ago. He was just turned 18, and after discharge from hospital, etc., he died quite shockingly. And then a few months later, I'd kept in touch with his mum, and a few months later, she posted a thing on Facebook saying it was his birthday. And she said, we don't know what you'd be doing for your birthday. We'll never know this. And I thought, that's how you do it. You can only write about the things that never happened. And so that was my angle in. So that's what how I framed it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful song. And what's it called, Chris? Then I'll edit the video so people can hear it.
When I Feel Your Name on My Lips. Never walked in sunshine, never learned to tell the time, never felt the grass beneath your feet, never heard a nursery rhyme, never heard a church bell chime, just a cold clinging beat. I still cry sometimes when I think of you. Never really knew you, no one did. I footprints in the sand. Never held your grandma's hand, never got to laugh or cry. No hello and no goodbye, just a short unlived life, and all I know about you is you. I still cry sometimes when I think of you. Never really knew you, no one did. Cry sometimes when I think of you. When I feel your name on my lips. When I feel your name on held you, you were gone and cold. Left your mark upon my soul, and all I know about you is your name. But I smile sometimes when I think of you. Never really knew you, no one did. I can smile sometimes when I think of you, and I feel your name on my lips. When I feel your name on my lips.
Okay, brilliant. So that was when I feel your name on my lips by Chris
Yeah.
Martin. Yeah, it's a really powerful song, Chris, and you were telling us a little bit about how you wrote it beforehand and that initial inspiration. What was it like then when you had that kind of, you say, the angle that you were going to take with it? What was it like then, I guess, spilling it out of deciding what you were going to put in each verse, and I guess the emotional element of writing it? How was it in that sense?
It was kind of strange because of it that because it was such a long time ago, or 18 years or so now, and we've got other grandchildren. So what I've seen happen with them and what we know about them was what I'll never know about him. So things that, like, I know what they look like. There's a line in there about would your ears be big or small?
Mm.
Well, my ex-wife is other grandma. Their family have got ears that are, it's kind of a random thing. They're either big or they're not. So you get potluck whether you've got these ears or not. And it was that, and what shoe size and things that I'd never done that I'd watched the other grandchildren do. So I kind of used those. It was kind of difficult because it took me a while. I had to practice being able to sing all the way through it without getting upset.
Yeah.
Even though a long time ago, it's kind of like, let's open up this raw wound, throw the bout in it. And so I had to practice getting through it without welling up, which was a strange procedure because I didn't want to not care.
Yeah.
It's a strange one.
Yeah, it's a difficult balance, isn't it? And you performed it obviously at the Swan Song Cathedral concert in Bradford last year, didn't you? Was that the first time you performed it live?
It was, and I only did it because you asked me to, and you said I'll help you, and I did wobble a couple of times during it there. I think so. It was the first time I'd done it,
Yeah, you did a great job of it.
But yes, that was the first time. I only performed it live maybe 2 or 3 times. But it's it's done now, and and it's and I can sing it all the way through, so I might start and use it now.
Yeah, and I guess, well, like you say, it's that interesting balance of not wanting to do it without without caring or connecting. You don't completely disconnect from it, but you also need to be able to get through it. Holding it together really when you.
If you disconnect for that 3 minutes 48 seconds or however long it is, and then reconnect afterwards, because otherwise, But because if you start welling up while you're doing it, it's either going to look really cool or it's going to look like you just play acting, and
And it's how long you can, like, sometimes when you see an artist really kind of well up in a song, and then they pull it, and they can continue the performance. It's just like really powerful. There's a version of Springsteen doing Blood Brothers from a New York concert, where he gets all the band at the front of the stage and he sings like this extra verse, which is in the normal version, and you can see he's really struggling with it, but he kind of pulls through it, and then when he finishes the song, it's just so powerful. But then when if they just lose it completely, then it's
it's not and it's not funny, but it's kind of it's got to. It works. It doesn't work if you just break down in tears and say I can't go on. It's a strange one. It's a strange one. And his son, his dad, and he hasn't listened to it yet. He can't listen to it.
Yeah, maybe one day it'll. And how did you find, like, when you completed it? How did that feel? Did you feel was it a cathartic experience where you kind of?
It was actually, yeah. I wasn't sure whether it would be or not, but it was, yeah. And it needed to be done. It's just that, and I think more prolific writers would have had maybe a few goes at it in different versions, maybe, or whatever, but if it wasn't till I found exactly what I wanted, I couldn't even make a start on it. So it was just, but that angle just made it work, writing about all the things that you will never know.
And you mentioned earlier that you wouldn't call yourself a prolific writer. How did you find the musical structure of it? And so you had plenty of ideas for the content, but then how did it come together? Were you inspired by other particular songs, or did you have a method for that?
No, not really. I mean, it's a very basic chord sequence, and it kind of just happened, and I had it. And sometimes if I get an idea, I'll do what a lot of people do and use voice recorder at phone, and then just capture a line or half a verse or whatever. But strangely enough, with that one, I didn't do it, but it stayed with me. It kind of sat in there and stayed. So I thought, it must be right. This, it's hanging around in my head like it's supposed to be there. So
it's always a good sign. Something you can't.
Yeah. But and then it was just a matter of what are the things and that you'll never know, what they've never done and what they will never do. And then, as I said, watching other grandchildren, you think, because it's good things. Sometimes the little hookers get themselves into trouble, but you still love them, But so it kind of, it kind of came together from an idea of an angle that I got from somebody else's grief, from someone else's loss, and then watching my grandchildren and thinking, I can use that, use that. So all the things that they've done, he won't. And so it's wrote itself really from that.
Yeah, it's a very powerful song, Chris. And I'm really happy that you found it cathartic doing it, and that you shared it with us now.
It's it was kind of like it needed to come out, but it had to be right, and it could, I tried a couple of times and end up writing about how I feel, and nobody's interested in how I feel about it, It's really I didn't want it to be about what I feel about it, So once we got it, there it was,
Yeah, brilliant. Right, let's move into the second section, shall we? So this is where I ask my guests to share a songwriting tip that might be useful for new or aspiring songwriters. So what tip would you share with us, Chris?
Well, being a 62-year-old new aspiring songwriter, because that's it. What happened with me is I played guitar up until me sort of mid-20s, bands and stuff, and then I didn't play for years. I didn't even own a guitar for years. Got back into it, started playing, and when I started going and playing with other people and around other people, open mics and stuff like that, I quickly sort of came across lots of lovely people who were excellent songwriters. And I just thought, I can't do this. Like, that's great. I can't do this. That's, wow, I can't do this. So what I would say is, just do it. Don't, think, oh, I can't run right. I can't do this. Mine won't be this good, or mine won't be that good. Because I don't do that with anything else. There's great slide guitar players, great finger picking guitar players, great all this. And then I think, oh, I can't do it because they're better than me. So why this one thing happened? So just do it. Let it all happen. Just bring it out. And if other people don't like it, well, it's not really that important, is it?
Yeah.
It's nice if they do, but it's not end of the world if they don't, is it? So that would be my tip. Just do it. If you're not, if you're not confident, or you don't think it's any good, or you're too hard on yourself, just do it anyway. If you're like me, you'll have friends who'll say, "I'd never play that one again if I were you. That's rubbish." They will kindly tell you that it doesn't work, which is nice. But so yeah, do it. Don't be scared and think I can't. They're not good.
Yeah, that's great advice. And I think just adding on to your story there about it, like, so you talking about listening to other songwriters and not feeling like you were good enough to do that. So I remember obviously I've known you quite a while and thinking before you doing writing, thinking like, I'd love Chris to write songs because I'd love to hear how Chris would write a song based on other stuff that I knew about you, your personality and your interests and stuff like that. So even though then, so it's like, and you never know what other people think that of you, even if you don't think yourself that you can write songs or that your songs will be as good as someone else's. There's probably lots of other people who are very interested in what your perspective would be as a songwriter based on your interests and personality and things like that.
It's kind of strange because there'll be songwriters and songs, and you'll think, wow, I could never have come up. That line is just unbelievable. I could never have come up with that line. And then if you look at some other lines that they've written, you think, well, I could have come up with that one, and I might have not used it. Because that's what it is. You can look at some entire songs and think, just read that out, and it's ridiculous. So it's kind of, just do it. Stop being worried about it. It's and what I want to do now is I'm going to, when the world starts moving again, I'm going to start and go to songwriting workshops and learn from people who got more experience in doing it, how they lyrically and musically put things together. When there are certain things, aren't there? If you've got a modicum of musical knowledge, there are certain rules that work, and you can use that. But it's kind of nice lyrically to have a more poetic angle on it.
Yeah, the collaboration's been something that's come up quite a lot on this podcast. That people say that how much that helped them once they started working with more and more different people, how much they learned from that. And it's definitely something that I wish I'd done it sooner in my journey with it for a while. I guess it's quite a nerve-wracking thing a lot of time for people to try and work with other people for that fear of being inadequate or not as good as someone else.
Yeah,
but really,
but it's a strange thing why you're saying it, why you would feel it with songwriting. I don't feel it with, like, if I lived near you and I said, oh, I'm going to get back into doing some fitness stuff, then I'll come and lift weights with you. I wouldn't feel inadequate because I wasn't shifting as much weight as you, and I wouldn't feel, it's like I've said with other guitar players, I don't think, I might as well put it away because they're really good. I'll just play with it, So I don't know why it is with songwriting that somehow you feel you have to be. Why I felt that I had to match, you know.
Mm.
It's just weird, you know.
Yeah, it's strange if people feel competitive about different things. I'm definitely saying with like songwriting, it's kind of been one that for a while that, you know, that was one I feel a bit more competitive about. But for me, it was more, remember guitar playing was one for a while. So for me,
Yeah.
at one point, guitar playing was the thing I'd be more worried about being competitive about than songwriting. But yeah, it's just interesting how everyone's got the different.
But the thing is,
things.
if you think about what is that song for,
Mm.
that if we're talking about this song, it's for me to say something about that event in my life. From a listener, I hope that sometimes you might speak to them. It might be a shared event, or it might just talk about other, things, or they might just like it. They might just think, "Oh, that's a really poignant thing," or whatever. But another song's less serious. It's an entertainment medium, isn't it?
Mm.
And it's got to work on that level. So it's got to appeal in a lot of ways, hasn't it? It's so guitar playing, anything, songwriting. It's an entertainment medium, and therefore it's got to appeal to people as a nice melody or rhythm, or the lyrics will get to them, or what, and so how would you measure it, whether one's better than another one,
Yeah, and I always remember, I'm thinking that like you can't have too many songs. It's not like we're going to run out of space for songs.
No,
So
no.
whatever song, even if only one person really likes it, that it's been worth being written, isn't it? And
Yeah. And it's just it's a strange thing, and I suppose there is the other side of the same coin, where I have come across people, bless them, and who have no self-edit whatsoever, and every single word they've written, and every single idea for a song is turned into a song and will get played endlessly at you. Them first two were good, but why is this one? And again, it's not being critical, but I once remember somebody said to me, Ryan Adams. So somebody saying about Ryan Adams, it'd be a lot better if he could self-edit, because he's got some great stuff and some absolute stuff that don't stand against his other stuff, because apparently no ability to self-edit. It's like, I've written it, it's great.
I remember, I think it's in 20,000 Days on Earth, the film about Nick Cave. I think it's a bit in that way. He says that if, I think someone asked him what advice he would give to his younger self, and it's about editing. Because a lot of his earlier songs were a lot longer, and he said that he wished he'd edited some of those songs, just cut stuff out of them and made them shorter. And he said that not really for like commercial purposes, that shorter songs tend to be more popular on the radio and things, but just that it turns it into a very different song. And and when he was younger, he used to think like the more the better, really. If you write 7 great verses, that's better than writing 4 great verses. But it's not necessarily the case.
Yeah, you lose people, can't you? Because I mean, I was kind of aware that we get that When I Feel Your Name is like pushing 4 minutes. And people, I'm the same. If there's no action, if action ain't changing up again after 3, I'm starting to get, and we do. That's why there's an optimum length for a pop single, isn't it?
Yeah, unless you're Bob Dylan and you put out Murder Most Foul in like 17 minutes.
Yeah, well, you've kind of got to earn that, though, haven't you? You've got to earn that.
Yeah, great stuff. So yeah, let's move into section 3 now, shall we? This is where I ask my guests to share with us a song that is meaningful to them in some way relating to bereavement. And what I do for this section is I put the link in the description. So if you're watching this and you want to go and check out the song, you follow that link. Have a listen to it and come back. We're going to talk about it a little bit. So what song did you choose for us for this section, Chris?
Mandolin Wind. No, Magnolia Wind, not Mandolin Wind. Where did I get that from? Magnolia Wind. Guy Clark, Magnolia Wind. I just a really poignant love song about, I'm assuming it's his wife. And it's kind of, I listen to it and it's kind of strange because as you start to get older, you know, I mean, I'm counting on another 25 years, you know, I'm looking to be 80, whatever, you know. But you do kind of your own. About 3 or 4 years ago, I realised, oh, I'm not immortal. You know, you're from that youth, when you're young, you're immortal, and you know, nothing ever happens to you. And then later on, and then you start your own mortality and other people's, and you kind of think, you know, Ben and I've been together 30 odd years now, and you start to think, one day, one of us is going to be in this apartment on our own. And that's what that song's about to me, you know, that you'd rather not be without her, you know, and the things, you know, and you just think that's the kind of next barrier, isn't it? You know, if you follow the normal scheme of things, you grow up and you'll get married and have children or whatever, and at some point in time, you will have to be at your parents' funeral, you know, and then one of you in a couple is going to pass away, you know, and so the other one's got to be on their own. And these are normal things in life, but you don't start thinking about them until they're not close at hand, but they're a lot nearer than you'd like them to be, you know, and they become real, you know, and it just sits then, you think, yeah, those kind of songs are, you know, I'm going to be a little old man in 30 years and I might be, you know, on my own, and I will drink too much and all that kind of stuff. But that's a beautiful song, and Guy Clark is, you know, master songwriter, and it really fits that thing of loss for me, anyway.
Yeah, definitely. That's a beautiful description, and I guess it's just interesting. You talk about it like that. That's again, obviously, I'm at a slightly younger stage of life and haven't been having those thoughts as yet, but that getting to that stage where you do start thinking about that, and what a time that would be.
Yeah, it's not in a maudlin way. It's just a natural sequence of things, isn't it? If everything works out as it should do, you have to sort out burying your parents, and any children you have to sort out burying you, and you may have to have one of you, unless you both go at the same time, you know, in a speedboat accident or something on your 80th birthday, you know, both of you. But
that's the dream.
That's how it is. Yeah, but we haven't got a speedboat, so it's not going to go that way. But it's you know, I said that's the natural. There's a natural order to life and death, isn't there? And it gets screwed up at times. I mean, my nan, my dad's mum, outlived, I think, 3 husbands. She was widowed 3 times, I think, certainly twice. I think it was 3, and I think I'm just doing my family tree research, but certainly all of their children, other than my dad, right? And that's not on, is it? That's not supposed to happen. You know, you're not supposed to outlive your children, because the order of things is that's how it works. This is kind of like when one of your parents dies, if they've had a good life. You know, forgive me, I'm not saying, you know, it doesn't matter. But what I mean is when they reach a certain age and it's time, it's upsetting, but it's the natural order of things. But it's then, you know, I've got a neighbour who's just short of 90, and he's quite sprightly and, you know, blah, blah. But he's done nearly 20 years now without his wife, you know. But they've done like 40 odd years together. So it's kind of, you know, I can't imagine another lifetime afterwards, you know. It's strange, isn't it?
It would just feel like another life, I imagine.
Yeah. So it's yeah, so it's an natural order of things, isn't it? And with Swan Song, because the thing is to write with somebody who knows that it's coming, those emotions and that feeling, everybody around them who loves them and cares about them, they can see it coming. And it's sometimes think it's harder to be left behind than it is to go, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, like a lot of people there.
And I've never died, so I'm not really sure about that one either, you know, to face it, you know. But it's, yeah, so the Magnolia Wind is that's I think what he's doing.
Yeah, it is a stunning song. It's Guy Clark is just was just a master songwriter. He just had that amazing ability of just pinpointing these such potent, like real human emotions and expressing them in such a clear way, in such a simple but profound way. He was
and it's not overly poetic, is it? It's not flowery language or anything. It's very, very, you know,
real and heartfelt.
Yeah.
Brilliant, Chris. Yeah, well, thanks a lot for coming on the show. I've really enjoyed talking to you, as always.
Been a pleasure.
Yeah, and I'll tag your pages and everything in here so people can check out your stuff. I believe you're working on a new album, aren't you?
I am, and I'm going to say I would have had it finished if this hadn't have happened. Well, nobody's going to believe me. But it's more or less ready to start and record. That particular song, When I Feel Your Name, that's already done. That's finished and recorded. Santa bought me a T-Scam 8-track thing at Christmas, so I've managed to sort of like demo a lot of stuff and work on ideas that way. So when it's safe to play out again, I can do it. And then, you know, I'm only having I'm only having 5,000 copies of my CD printed up. So
people better pre-order.
No. That's what it said. I'm just thinking then. Somebody who will remain nameless said, "Don't get more than 100. If you get as many as I did, you'll have to use them. You'll just store them in the shape of an armchair and sit in that, and hope that one day that arm will get sold, and then this arm." Never order more than 100. Only you can sell 50 to people who've met you and they'll feel quite kind. And you might be able to con another 50 into buying it. After that, you're in desperate territory.
Good stuff. Yeah, well, I'll be one to buy one of those copies anyway, so I look forward to it.
Well, that's another thing. I'm going to have to get 150 done because over the years people have said, "Hey mate, have a copy of my CD," and give me one. So I've got to have some giveaways to give back to people.
Return the favours, yeah.
It's that swap thing, isn't it?
Yeah, happens a lot when
people, you're not saying bill or somebody, they'll give you a CD and you're supposed to do a swap, and I've had to give them, some, well, take that CD I had in card. I don't listen to anymore. But it's it's just how it is.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Good stuff. Cool. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Chris. And thanks a lot, everyone, for tuning in. I'll be back with another episode soon.